What is up, guys? It's your boy Andy Matrix, and today I wanted to make this video and put my face on this video because I actually have a very important message. And I don't care if I get ad revenue from this video or not, but I hope that many people actually hear this message, and I would greatly appreciate it if you take this video and you share it on social media, because I think this is something that we are all going to suffer from if this continues. So you saw the title of this video. So BlackRock trying to control Japanese games and anime culture, right? Japanese games and anime culture, right? Because I have said it before that a lot of these companies, they want to get into anime, they want to, invest into video games because, yeah, it is profitable, very, very, very profitable, many times even more profitable than American entertainment, right? But the problem is that they do not understand the culture behind it. There's an entire culture behind Japanese games and anime, and that's exactly what they ignore. So, why is this happening? I know this, we're talking about Japan here, but this is something much bigger than Japan. So hear me out. So look, Western companies, Western corporations have squeezed as much as they can from Western countries like America, right? They have corrupted American entertainment, music, and now, music, movies, and now video games. And ever since the pandemic in 2020, they have been targeting Asian countries. However, Japan has become one of their main targets. And, the Japan is targeted even more than any other Asian countries. Forget Korea, forget, China, or whatever other corporation, or whatever other Asian country. Japan is one of the big players in the entertainment industry. And corporations like BlackRock, Blackstone, Vanguard, they want a piece of that pie, right? After American entertainment was corrupted by left-wing politics, you all know what I'm talking about, big investment firms like BlackRock want to invest in Japanese entertainment, such as anime, manga, Japanese video games. And why wouldn't they? No one cares about, American cartoons anymore. I made a video series about, why Japanese anime is more popular than American cartoons. Go check that out. Yeah, but nobody cares about American cartoons. Everyone watches anime, and according to Netflix, more than 50% of Netflix subscribers watch anime worldwide, okay? Japanese manga has outsold American comics by a long shot. Like, American comics don't even reach 1 million sold, per series. 2D animation is non-existent in America. It's all Japanese. It's all in the hands of the Japanese now. Companies like BlackRock, Vanguard have been investing huge amounts of money into Japanese video game companies, into anime, into manga. As a result, companies like Square Enix, Bandai, Capcom, and a whole bunch of others have to apply certain ideas to their companies and to their games and to their anime, such as diversity and inclusion. Does that sound familiar? It probably does. We watch anime and play Japanese video games to escape such ideologies that have destroyed America. But now these companies want to apply those same ideologies to Japanese entertainment. Wow. Japan's most recent prime minister, Fumio Kishida, was funded by BlackRock themselves. Yes. Bet you didn't know that. Japan's new Prime Minister Fumio Kishida was funded by BlackRock. Okay, we lost Shinzo Abe. Which was deleted in the streets of Tokyo, right? In public, he was deleted. May his soul rest in peace. And BlackRock, has Fumio Kishida actually, after being funded by BlackRock, has been advocating for more investments from such companies. And it's not just BlackRock, like I said, politicians have also flooded into Japan, trying to force Japan to apply American immigration policies. As a result, we are seeing crime increase in Japan like America, right? Just like America, because why the heck not? Why not turn Japan into a slum or an American ghetto? Why not? Also, keep in mind that Japan doesn't have any ghettos, due to how clean they are. The Japanese are so clean, it's hard to find any ghettos in Japan. I know. Or you can try Googling Japanese ghettos, you're not going to get much results. And also, the increase in Japanese tourism has attracted idiots like Johnny Somali. We all know that story.
Hiroshima. You know Hiroshima? You know Hiroshima? Nagasaki? You know why you do this? Pearl Harbor? Hiroshima, Nagasaki!
We also have companies like Visa trying to force Japanese people or Japanese companies from selling so-called inappropriate anime games on places like Steam. Okay, this has resulted in the Japanese population becoming more and more right-wing to prevent their nation from becoming inundated with immigrants and other issues. And can you blame them? I mean, it's their country, it's their nation. So why do so many Western companies think they can just walk into Japan and start forcing their new rules? The question is, why attack Japan? Why attack Japan? But more specifically, why go after anime and video games? Like, it seems to me like many companies, they just can't leave video games alone, right? Now it's Japanese games and anime. Well, if you haven't noticed, there is something standing in the way of these big companies, okay? And if you haven't figured this out, that one thing standing in the way of many corporations, like companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, and all these people, it is a thing called culture. Yes, culture is standing in their way. I always say that politicians, they ruin a country, but average people like you and me, we are really, really good at creating culture. Okay? I mean, think about it. Many times, many of the things that we love in America have been destroyed. Things such as Star Wars, Star Trek, and many of the 1980s, 1990s movie franchises, they have all been destroyed in a span of about 10 years. Look at what happened to Lord of the Rings. Look at what they did to Lord of the Rings. One of the most iconic American franchises. Poof, destroyed with the Rings of Power. Okay, when was the last time you thought about Star Wars? I mean, seriously, I don't see many people obsessed with Star Wars anymore. Star Wars has been damaged so much that it has been removed from the psyche of the American people. That's how bad it is. So big corporals want to destroy culture because it gets in their way. Okay, you see those people that are at the very top, the elites, the rich people, the oligarchs. They have their own culture. So it's almost as if they don't really need us. And Japan is one of the countries that is so rich in culture. Look, Japan went through the Sakoku era, which they were isolated from the entire world for 260 years until, of course, in the 1800s, when the French and the Americans came and forced them to open their country for trade. But before that, the Japanese, they closed themselves to the world. Right? And that's how they were able to maintain so many of their cultural traditions, right? And for these big corporations, such things gets in their way, because that means if people have a cultural identity, in the human psyche, when you have a cultural identity, it fulfills, it does something to the human soul. It creates this fulfillment. And big corporations, they can't really sell anything to you if you're already filled. If your cup is full, there's not much that they can sell to you. You know what I mean? It's hard to sell to somebody who's already content. There has to be some type of emptiness, some type of problem for that person to fill, for corporations to sell to you, if that makes sense, right? And Japan is still very rich in culture. Although in the next few decades, I feel as though that's going to change. That's going to be ruined. And the Japanese are fighting hard to maintain that that beauty, those traditions. And that is why these big corporals, they want to destroy culture all over. And it's all over the world. I mean, look what they did to America. Now they're going after Japan. Look what happened in England, right? Japan is one of the last bastions of entertainment. And if the big corporals can control that, then they have accomplished their missions. Without culture, people lose identity and just become consumers. Kind of like what happens here in America, right? In America, there's almost no culture. People feel empty, right? People feel empty here in America. And that's why there is such a consumer culture. Ah, you didn't know that, did you? One of the driving forces of selling, right? Of selling a lot of products, selling a lot of services, people have to feel there has to be an emptiness in the human psyche, in the human soul. Right? That's why Americans are so addicted to shopping, because they get this, this rush of dopamine. Right? Because there's an emptiness that they're trying to fill. And that's why America has such a huge consumer culture. We are so materialistic and we judge each other based on materialism. Okay? So imagine if America had its own culture, if we were more content, right? If we were more content, more filled in our spirit, we will not be the big consumers that we are. But because America is so divided and people are so empty on the inside, we feel the need to consume, just buy the next thing, buy the next thing. That is why, despite of what's happening here, if you see what Donald Trump is doing, with the tariffs, right? The tariffs are separating, is basically making many countries around the world separate themselves from America. But they still want to sell their products in America. So they have no issue separating from America, but please keep buying. Because they know they are able to sell more of their products and services in America than anywhere else in the world. Anywhere else in the world. Okay, there is a lot of Americans are empty and they fill it with shopping. Okay, ding ding ding, big secret revealed. And you probably know, if you've taken a psychology class, you're probably familiar with what I'm saying right now. But this is why companies like BlackRock and Vanguard and all these corporations, they're trying to destroy Japan. Is because the Japanese have an identity. The Japanese have an identity, and if you can take away some of that identity, even 20% of it, people will become more empty, and it will be easier for corporations to sell to them, to control them, and do whatever, right? And convince them on things such as immigration policies, right? I'm gonna end it there. This video went a little bit longer than I expected, but I'm really glad that I talked about this. Hopefully YouTube doesn't try to take this video down, but let's see what happens. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to share. Okay, make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. Guys, it's your boy, Andy Matrix. Godspeed.